Nostalgia. The taste of your favorite meal your mother used to cook for you, the sight of old grade school classrooms, the sound of that one old Christmas song that you used to hear as a kid, that weird smell of your grandma's house. All of these are some very specific triggers that can cause you to feel a sense of nostalgia. And nostalgia is a really weird feeling. That sense of something that you once had, that feeling that you can't quite pinpoint. You get flooded with past memories. This could be good or bad depending on the situation, but overall it's quite mysterious. Many people chase this feeling, trying to find what triggers some of their fondest memories of their past. I'm currently 20 years old, and one of my biggest triggers is actually Fortnite. I remember when Fortnite first came out, I was dying to play it. I remember watching my brother play, just wanting to get on for one round, just wanting a chance to play with him, but the game was rated T for teen, and as a 12-year-old kid, my mom would not let me play until I turned 13. I was devastated for a while, but then my 13th birthday rolled around. My birthday is in March, which happened to fall right in the middle of spring break. Alongside the rest of my birthday celebrations, I got a bag of Starburst minis, which is oddly specific. And so for the entire week, I sat and I played nothing but Fortnite, eating Starburst minis. And so nowadays, for me, 7 years later, there are a few things that trigger that sense of nostalgia for playing OG Fortnite. And of course, that is the taste of Starburst minis. And oddly enough, only the mini ones, not the normal ones. I don't know the science behind that. But of course, there's also some key sounds from the game, like the honking of the battle bus and the sound of the storm closing in. My point of this story is to show that nostalgia is just oddly specific. How the taste of Starburst minis can trigger memories of OG Fortnite. It's an experience that's specific to me. But the older I've gotten, the more I've come to realize that most of my nostalgia is actually triggered by songs, but only oddly specific songs. And the odd thing is, this sense of nostalgia isn't tied to a thing like OG Fortnite, but for me, it's an entire period of time of my life. The other day, I was watching a favorite movie of mine called, of course, How to Train Your Dragon. If you grew up in the early 2000s like me, everybody knows this is a classic, a staple for every kid. But I was watching the movie and I was suddenly flashbanged with a wave of nostalgia. The How to Train Your Dragon theme music played over and over again in my brain. But the nostalgia I was feeling had nothing to do with my childhood. It reminded me of Christmas 2021. Yes, a song that came out in a movie that was released in 2012 was reminding me of a time period of my life nearly a decade later. And it all had to do with TikTok. That's right, TikTok has started to cause people to have nostalgia for oddly specific time periods in their life. Let me explain. Well, Christmas of 2021 was a very exciting time because the third installment of Tom Holland's Spider-Man was released. And this movie was huge on TikTok. And that is especially because of the Spider-Man cameos with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. There was a very large TikTok trend, if you were on Marvel TikTok, that had to do with pretty much playing the How to Train Your Dragon music behind the three Spider-Man swinging onto screen. So now there is forever a connection in my mind between How to Train Your Dragon and Christmas of 2021. But shouldn't it just correlate with seeing the Spider-Man movie? And I'll circle back to that in just a second. First, I want to look at a few more examples. Another song that just floods my brain with nostalgia, and that is the song Running Up That Hill, a song released by Kate Bush in 1985, but it was featured heavily in Stranger Things Season 4. And as you guys know, Stranger Things Season 4 was massive, especially on TikTok. You could not swipe 3 videos on TikTok without seeing a video with this song on it, or a Chrissy Wake Up meme. And so now every time I hear that song, I get flooded with nostalgia from the summer of 2022. Another example of this follows the popular Netflix show Wednesday. The show released in late November 2022, and everyone on the internet at the time knows about the iconic Wednesday Adam dance. You really could not scroll on TikTok without seeing video after video of this dance. But the interesting thing is, this iconic Wednesday dance was actually put to the song Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga. That was the whole trend. But did you know that this song was never actually in the show Wednesday? The dance in the show was actually to this song. called Goo Goo Muck. But somehow Bloody Mary got connected to the dance on TikTok, and so now every single time I hear that song, I get flooded with nostalgia to the holiday season of 2022. And then I want to bring up one final example, which is really specific to me, and that's the thing with a lot of these trends is it kind of has to do with what you watch on TikTok and the side of TikTok you're on. But this is a video I got almost a year ago now on my For You page, and it inspired this entire video.
I might just wait here for a little bit. Let time pass.
This video was a joke video trying to get people to remember the nostalgia of 2023, specifically fall of 2023. And I had seen this video on my For You page in the summer of 2024, so like 7 or 8 months later. And obviously this was a joke trying to make fun of like the nostalgia TikTok trends, and so they picked something pretty recent to kind of like make fun of. But the problem is I genuinely felt the nostalgia for that time period. It worked. They were trying to make a joke and it worked on me. Fall of 2023 was my first semester of college. Me and my friends would have watch parties. We'd all get together and watch a TV show that was airing that week. We started with the Ahsoka show in August and eventually got to Loki season 2. And this was a TikTok sound of Owen Wilson's Mobius that was all over TikTok, specifically relating to the finale of Loki season 2. And hearing that sound brought me back to that time where I was able to just hang out with my friends and watch TV shows. It's interesting the more I've come to realize this. Me and so many other people are just constantly mindlessly scrolling on TikTok. And when certain TikTok trends happen, we get a large amount of TikTok audios over and over and over again. And because with how much we're on TikTok, we start to subconsciously associate a lot of these TikTok sounds with every aspect of our life. To the point whenever you hear that sound, instead of associating that sound with a very specific thing, you associate it with an entire time period of your life. Circling back to Spider-Man No Way Home, videos like this bringing back waves of nostalgia to such a specific time period in my life, and it's all because of TikTok. So the next time you're mindlessly scrolling, just think about how you might be transported back to this moment in time just because of a TikTok trend. But I would love to know, has TikTok had this exact same effect on you? Please leave a comment down below with your guys' TikTok trends that have triggered nostalgic feelings like this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.